Have you ever felt like something was just off? You're eating clean, walking a little each day, maybe even sneaking in a few push-ups here and there. Your doctor says your numbers look fine, but you're still waking up tired. Maybe your energy dips after lunch. Motivation? Not what it used to be. And don't even get started on the changes in mood, sleep, or drive. It's like your spark has dimmed just a little. Now, here's the kicker. What if I told you that some of the healthy vegetables you've been eating might actually be working against you? Not because vegetables are bad, no. But because certain ones, especially for men over 60, can have an unexpected impact on your hormones. Particularly one very important hormone, testosterone. And I'm not just talking about libido or masculinity. Testosterone, especially as you get older, plays a huge role in how sharp your mind is, how strong your bones are, how easily you gain or lose weight, and how motivated you feel to do anything at all. So when testosterone dips too low, even just slightly, it's not always obvious, but it changes everything. And here's the surprising part, 6 specific vegetables, yes, vegetables, may be playing a role in that decline. Now, I know that might sound dramatic, maybe even a little unbelievable. But hear me out. Because today, we're not just naming those 6 veggies. We're unpacking why they matter, how they affect your testosterone, and most importantly, what you can do instead. You'll walk away with simple, doable swaps that can help you feel clearer, stronger, and more like you. This isn't about guilt or fear. It's about understanding your body, listening to its signals, and making empowered choices. And by the way, you don't need to give up vegetables, not at all. This is about refining, not restricting. So here's what I'd love for you to think about as we go. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, but still felt off? If you have, I see you. You're not alone. Drop a quick yes or share your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're new here, welcome to Everyday Ageless, where we explore simple, science-backed ways to stay strong, sharp, and vital, not just in your 60s, but well beyond. Now let's dive in. Let's start with one of the biggest surprise culprits, soy-based vegetables, things like edamame, soy sprouts, and soy-based greens. You see them in plant-based dishes, trendy salads, and even smoothie boosters. Now don't get me wrong, soy has some great things going for it, especially in moderation. But for men over 60, there's a hidden catch. Let me tell you about Mike. He's 68, retired from his job as a contractor, and decided to eat more plant-based to protect his heart. He swapped meat for tofu and started snacking on edamame every day. Felt good at first, lighter, cleaner. But then he started noticing he was waking up groggy. Lost some of his drive to go hiking, and even his sense of humor took a dip. His doctor said his labs were normal, but he knew something wasn't right. Turns out, Mike was loading up on phytoestrogens, plant compounds in soy that mimic estrogen in the body. And when they show up in high amounts, especially in older men, they can throw off your hormonal balance, sometimes subtly lowering testosterone over time. Here's where it gets tricky, soy isn't evil. But if you're consuming it daily, especially in processed forms, it may not be doing your testosterone any favors. The science. It shows a potential link between high soy consumption and reduced free testosterone levels in men. Now, does that mean one bowl of miso soup will tank your hormones? No. But if you're having soy in your cereal, your smoothie, your lunch, and your dinner, it adds up. So what can you do instead? First, scale back on processed soy like soy milk, edamame snacks, and soy protein powders. Second, opt for fermented forms, miso, tempeh, they're easier on the system. And third, rotate your plant proteins, lentils, hemp seeds, quinoa. Give your body some variety. Let's move on to another sneakily estrogenic veggie, flax sprouts and overused flax greens. You've probably heard that flax is a superfood, and yes, it has fiber, omega-3s, and antioxidants. But here's the catch: flax is one of the richest sources of lignans, another estrogen-like compound. I remember a viewer, let's call him John, who wrote in saying he started putting flax sprouts on his salads and in his smoothies because he heard it was great for cholesterol. But within weeks, he noticed he was feeling sluggish and oddly emotional, a little more irritable, even weepy. He didn't connect it at first. But after he took a break from the flax, his mood and energy began to level out. Now that's not proof for everyone, of course. But it's worth noting, men's bodies, especially after 60, become more sensitive to estrogenic compounds. And too much flax, especially in sprout form, might not be ideal. My advice? Don't fear flax entirely. Just use it in moderation, and skip the sprouts if you're eating them regularly. If you're looking for a seed that supports testosterone, pumpkin seeds are your friend. High in zinc, and very helpful for hormonal health. Now, you might be thinking, wait, aren't these all healthy foods? And yes, they can be. But remember, what's healthy for one person may not be ideal for another, especially when it comes to hormones and aging. And speaking of healthy, let's look at a food group that's praised almost everywhere. Cruciferous vegetables like raw kale, broccoli, and cauliflower. Let's pick up where we left off, with those so-called superfoods that might actually be dragging you down. Cruciferous vegetables, like kale, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, even Brussels sprouts, are often praised for their cancer-fighting compounds and detox benefits. And yes, when prepared right, they are powerful allies for your health. But here's where things go sideways, especially for men over 60. When you eat them raw, and in high amounts. Let's take Harold. He's 72 and proud of it. Super active guy, walks 3 miles a day, lifts light weights, eats super clean. For years, he had a raw kale smoothie every single morning. Add in some broccoli slaw at lunch, cauliflower rice at dinner. You get the picture. But over time, Harold started to feel tired in the afternoons. His skin got a bit dry. He gained a little weight around his middle even though his diet hadn't changed. What was going on? Turns out, raw cruciferous vegetables are high in goitrogens, compounds that can interfere with thyroid function. And here's the connection: your thyroid and testosterone are tightly linked. If your thyroid slows down, your energy drops, metabolism slows, and your testosterone can follow suit. And for older men, your thyroid becomes a little more delicate. It doesn't bounce back as fast as it did at 30 or 40. Now, does this mean kale is the enemy? Of course not. But it means how you eat it matters. Here's the fix: steam your cruciferous veggies. Just a quick 3 to 5 minute steam is enough to neutralize most of the goitrogens while still preserving nutrients. You can even sauté them lightly with olive oil and garlic, even better for absorption. Oh, and if you're doing green smoothies daily, switch it up. Try spinach, arugula, or microgreens instead of raw kale all the time. Your thyroid, and testosterone, will thank you. Now let's shift gears a bit to something that seems completely harmless, maybe even soothing. Mint. Specifically, spearmint and peppermint leaves. Minty teas, fresh herbs, maybe a little mint in your water bottle or afternoon salad. It's refreshing, it aids digestion, it feels gentle. So where's the harm? Let me introduce you to Thomas, 66 years old, widowed, soft-spoken, and very into holistic living. He drank spearmint tea every night for his digestion. He grew peppermint in his backyard. He swore by its calming effects. But he started noticing a slow decline in interest, in everything. Libido dropped. His workouts became more of a chore. Emotionally, he felt flat. Here's what research shows: spearmint, in particular, has been studied for its anti-androgenic effects. That means it can lower free testosterone in the body. In fact, in one study, spearmint tea significantly reduced testosterone in men within just a few weeks. Now, again, small amounts here and there. Probably fine. But if you're drinking spearmint or peppermint tea daily, or taking herbal supplements with mint, it might be doing more than you realize. My advice? Take breaks. Rotate your herbs. Instead of mint, try ginger or turmeric. They're warming, digestion-friendly, and actually support testosterone levels. You can even make a tea blend with cinnamon and clove, also great for blood sugar and energy. Now, here's a question I often get, but I feel fine. Should I really worry about this stuff? Here's the thing, you may not notice a huge change right away. But these things add up. It's not about panic. It's about stacking small wins for long-term vitality. And that brings us to something that surprises almost everyone when I mention it. Licorice root. You'll find it in herbal teas, traditional medicine, cough drops, even some wellness tonics. It's marketed as adrenal supportive, great for stress, soothing for the stomach. And again, it has its place. But for men over 60, licorice root has a well-documented testosterone-lowering effect. In clinical studies, even short-term use, just a week or two, led to noticeable drops in testosterone levels. I'll never forget Larry. He's 71, a retired firefighter, and one of the most determined guys I've ever met. He started drinking licorice root tea every evening to calm his digestion. After a couple months, he said he felt heavy in the head, like his thoughts were slower. His drive to work out was gone. He just didn't feel like himself. He thought maybe it was aging. But after cutting out the licorice tea, within 2 weeks, he noticed a shift. Clearer mind. More energy. Better mood. That's the power of removing what's draining you, even if it's something that seems gentle or herbal. If you're using licorice root tea or supplements, check the label. It may say, deglycerinated licorice. That version is gentler and doesn't affect hormones as much. But even then, if you're a man over 60, it might be worth skipping altogether. Instead, try holy basil, tulsi, or ashwagandha tea. They're calming, and they support testosterone, not suppress it. Now, so far, we've covered 5 of the 6 surprising testosterone-draining veggies or plant foods. 1. Soy-based sprouts and edamame. 2. Flax greens and sprouts. 3. Raw cruciferous vegetables. 4. Mint family greens. 5. Licorice root infusions. In just a moment, we're going to talk about the 6th one. The one most men consume without even thinking about it, often from a can or a jar. And the damage it does? It's sneaky. Stick with me, because this next one might be sitting in your fridge right now. Alright, let's talk about that 6th and final vegetable, the one that hides in plain sight. Canned or pickled nightshades. Now, nightshades include tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplants, and hot peppers. On their own, not a problem for most people. But the way they're processed can turn them from a vibrant source of nutrients, into something your body quietly struggles with. Let's rewind for a second. Meet Sam. He's 66 and has been eating clean for years, at least in his mind. Every morning, he'd whip up a veggie-packed omelet and top it with pickled jalapenos. Lunch? A quick sandwich with a few spoonfuls of roasted red pepper spread from a jar. Dinner often included canned tomatoes in a soup or stew. These are vegetables, right? What could go wrong? But Sam was dealing with brain fog. Joint stiffness. He felt sluggish in the mornings. And his testosterone? It was dipping steadily, despite his healthy lifestyle. The problem wasn't the nightshades themselves, it was the form they were coming in. Canned and pickled vegetables are often stored in containers lined with BPA, a chemical compound known to interfere with the body's hormonal system. BPA acts like a fake estrogen, disrupting your body's natural hormone balance. And testosterone is one of the first to take a hit. Not only that, pickled or preserved vegetables are typically loaded with sodium, which can raise cortisol and blood pressure, both of which indirectly suppress testosterone production. So even if you're eating veggies, if they're coming from a can or soaked in brine, you might be feeding your body stress rather than strength. Here's a simple fix: go fresh whenever you can. If you love tomato sauce, make your own using fresh or jarred tomatoes in glass containers. Craving pickled peppers? Roast your own red peppers with a little olive oil and sea salt. Want that tangy kick? Try a splash of apple cider vinegar over fresh veggies instead. And when you do buy canned goods, look for the label. BPA-free lining is what you want. Or better yet, opt for glass jars or frozen vegetables. They preserve nutrients without the chemical baggage. So, now we've walked through all 6 plant-based culprits that could be dragging down your testosterone without you even realizing it. 1. Soy-based sprouts and edamame, high in phytoestrogens. 2. Flax greens and sprouts, rich in lignans. 3. Raw cruciferous vegetables, goitrogens disrupt thyroid. 4. Mint family herbs, spearmint can reduce free testosterone. 5. Licorice root infusions, clinically shown to lower T6. Canned or pickled nightshades, BPA, sodium, and hidden inflammation. Now I want to pause here and ask you something important. How are you feeling as you listen to all this? Maybe a little surprised. Maybe even frustrated. Like, how can things that are supposed to be healthy be hurting me? I hear you. The truth is, you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing what we were all told: eat more plants, go low-fat, drink herbal teas. But what's missing from most advice is the nuance. What your body needs changes with age. After 60, everything becomes more sensitive: your metabolism, your hormone production, your gut, your sleep. It's not that you can't feel great, it's that your body speaks a little quieter, and demands a bit more intention. But here's the good news. Once you remove the foods that drain you, you start to notice something incredible: your natural energy comes back. Your sleep improves. That old spark you thought was gone, it starts flickering again. And that's what happened to Alan. Alan is 72, and he found this very channel, Everyday Ageless, while searching for ways to feel better without relying on more prescriptions. He saw a video, made a few small changes, cut out soy and flax, started steaming his veggies instead of eating them raw, and swapped mint tea for ginger tea. 10 days later, he emailed us. Said he was sleeping through the night again for the first time in months. His mind felt sharper. His grandkids came over for the weekend, and he actually kept up with them, laughing, playing, even tossing a football in the backyard. He said, "I didn't realize how far I'd drifted from myself, until I started to come back." That hit me. Because that's what this is really about, isn't it? It's not just about vegetables. It's about not settling. About refusing to believe that decline is inevitable. That you have to just accept low energy, poor sleep, mood swings, or feeling like a shadow of yourself. You don't. Every day is a chance to come back to yourself, and it starts with one choice at a time. Now in just a moment, we're going to take everything we've talked about and bring it home. We'll go deeper into the emotional toll this slow hormonal decline can take, not just on you, but on the people around you. And more importantly, how you can turn the tide, starting today. Let's take a breath here. Just pause for a moment. Because by now, you've taken in a lot. And I want to speak to something that rarely gets acknowledged, not in most health videos, not at the doctor's office, not even in most conversations. It's the quiet grief that comes with getting older and not feeling like yourself anymore. You might not talk about it. You might not even realize it fully. But there's this moment. Maybe you felt it, where you look in the mirror and wonder, where did I go? That spark, that sharpness, the sense of power in your body, the clarity in your thoughts, it all feels faded. And sometimes you just assume that's aging. That this is just the new normal. But I want to gently challenge that idea. Because the decline you felt, the dip in energy, the fog, the emotional flatness, the slower recovery, the lack of motivation, those aren't just signs of aging. Many times, they're symptoms of imbalance. Symptoms of small things piling up, slowly stealing your strength in the background. And here's the most important part, you can turn it around. You don't need some massive life overhaul. You don't need a shelf full of supplements. What you need is clarity, consistency, and compassion for your body. Start by removing the 6 hormone-disrupting plant foods we've talked about. Soy sprouts and edamame, flax greens and sprouts, raw cruciferous vegetables, unless cooked, spearmint and peppermint leaves in excess, licorice root infusions, canned or pickled nightshades with BPA or excessive sodium. These changes may feel small, but they're powerful. Because when you remove what drains you, your body can finally do what it's always wanted to do, heal. And to the adult children or caregivers watching this, maybe you're here on behalf of your father, your husband, or your grandfather, this matters for you too. The men you love may not always speak up, but they feel these shifts. Sometimes they suffer in silence because they don't want to burden you. But they deserve to thrive. To feel clear and confident. To wake up with purpose, with strength, and with dignity. So support them. Share this with them. And let them know it's never too late. Now, let's quickly recap, in plain, simple language. If you're over 60 and dealing with low energy, foggy thinking, poor sleep, or a general feeling of not quite right, look to your food first. Certain vegetables, yes, even the healthy ones, can mess with your testosterone and throw you off course. By making a few smart changes, you can rebalance your hormones naturally and begin to feel stronger, clearer, and more alive than you have in years. And here's a question I'd love to hear your thoughts on. And I truly hope you'll answer this in the comments. Have you ever had an experience where removing just one food made a big difference in how you felt? Maybe it was dairy, maybe sugar, maybe something unexpected. What was it? Let's talk about it below. Your story might help someone else. And hey, if you've gotten value from this video, would you do me a favor? Tap the like button so more people can find it. And if you want more videos like this, practical, down-to-earth, and hopeful, subscribe to Everyday Ageless and be part of a community that believes aging doesn't mean fading. Aging means refining. It means becoming more intentional, more focused, more powerful in the way you care for yourself. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. You're just evolving, and the best chapters are still being written. Before we close, I want to leave you with a little something extra, a bonus, if you will. There's a quote I love. Maybe you've heard it before, but today, let it land differently. You don't stop moving because you grow old. You grow old because you stop moving. George Bernard Shaw. Let that be a reminder, keep moving, not just your body, but your mind, your curiosity, your choices. Momentum is medicine. And here's a bonus wellness tip most people overlook, pumpkin seeds. Just a handful a day, rich in zinc, magnesium, and antioxidants that support testosterone and overall vitality. They're easy to snack on, sprinkle on salads, or add to smoothies. And if you're still watching, first of all, thank you. I know your time is precious. I hope this video felt like a conversation with someone who truly cares, because that's exactly what I aim for here at Everyday Ageless.